I want to talk about Gibbon. Gibbon Beyond the Trees is what it's called. It was so interesting to play for me. I'd heard about it there was a YouTube video that I watched that was really talking about Planet of Lana, another great game, very similar in some ways. And it brought up Gibbon. And it's like Gibbon wasn't even like the main point of the video. It was just like it brought it up about talking about like, how nature is portrayed in games and how ecosystems are, and that was cool. I was like, oh, that looks like a neat game. You know, I want to play as a Gibbon, and so I wishlisted it. It went on sale, bought it, played it in a single sitting, right? As I think everyone should. It's a cool game. You play as a Gibbon, obviously, and you go beyond the trees. Cool. I don't want to talk about all of it. It's really simple game, right? Very bare bones, and I think it's a great example of how you use the language of your mechanics, or the discussion between the player and the controls that they have and the environment that they explore to convey your narrative or immerse them into the character that they are, and in this case, a Gibbon. But it's really simple. You just press one or two buttons to swing your arms from kind of swing point to swing point. And what's really cool about the game was that it takes that simple concept, right? The most basic thing, what you think of when you think about a Gibbon, you know, swinging from the trees, or any monkey really stereotypically. And it applies that to get the point across of what it's trying to say. It's trying to talk about how, you know, humans have destroyed these ecosystems or are encroaching on these ecosystems, and because of that, these Gibbons have to adapt or struggle to survive in different ways. And it shows this not by telling you, but by making you observe it yourself. You know, the game starts with you swinging in these lush canopies, and it's so much fun, right? After you get the hang of the swinging mechanics and the controls. But then the environment changes. You know, I don't know how much I want to get into spoilers for a like hour-long game, 90-minute game or something like that. But essentially, as you're swinging through, you're kind of going across the landscape throughout this country or city or village or whatever. And through it, you sort of go deeper and deeper into civilization, right? You encounter more and more people. You are leaving your lush canopy, or even conversely, your lush canopy is being taken from you, right? What used to be canopy now is deforestation, or a city, or a village, a plantation. And what's so cool about this game is that each of those things is shown through the level design, and you feel it intuitively because of how one-to-one the mechanics of swinging is. The rhythm of traversing these different places is totally different for each one. You know, swinging from these homogeneous plantations where it's just rows and rows of the same height trees, compared to the canopies that you're in, which is just layers and layers of trees and branches that you can swing from. It feels totally different. At one point you swing through like a forest fire caused by deforestation. I don't know if it's caused by it, but it's implied. And it's like there's no trees anymore. It's just like branches and rubble. And you have to it sucks, right? You're just like crawling through this slow place. You can't swing anymore. It doesn't feel free. And then you go to this city near the end. I don't know if I should talk about the city. I don't even know if I have footage of the city. What I think is so successful in that game is how directly the mechanics play into the message as you play it, right? The way that you, playing as a Gibbon, just over the course of an hour, get to feel what it's like to get your happy environment taken away. Like the thing that you like to play in, right? That canopy just taken away from you, and trying to deal with these other places that you don't want to play in. You know, they're not as fun. And that's felt by the player, by me. I felt it. And it's conveyed within an hour. You know, that's impressive. I loved it. Is there more to say? I mean, bonus points, right, for it being for like an activist cause, right? The game starts and ends with like, hey, Gibbons, who you've learned to love, right? You've become. They're in facing troubles. Here's how you can help, or please help them, because what you just faced is real. And that's like doubly cool, right? It's not just, oh, you played as this fictional creature who then had to face these fictional problems, which would have been successful in its own right, but even more so than that, more than that, you played as this real creature who you could empathize with through this game, and that's the message that you take away from it is a real message. And in that way, I think it's like doubly, triply cool, because it's so... Making a video game is hard, and you're probably going to hear that a lot from me. But making a game, quote unquote, games for change, or a serious game, is even harder. Particularly making a good one. And Gibbon is a good one. I think that both the mechanics and the message combining in that very refined way, right? They trimmed all the fat in this game, was so successful. And I wanted to think about that more. So anyways, I'm not sure how much more I have to add to that. I could probably talk myself in circles around the same points for a while. But play Gibbon. You know, that's one of those games where if you have the $10, $15 or whatever, sometimes less, and you've got an hour of your time, play it. Why not? It's cool, it's fun, it's unique and it's special. It's not perfect, but it's worth your time. It's worth an hour of your time, right? I think so, at least. I don't know if I said this elsewhere, but I'll say it here. I almost want these videos to serve as a tracker for the games that I play throughout a year. Gibbon is a game that I played in 2023 that this video will be coming out in 2024. That's kind of weird. I don't know how much I'm going to do that, catching up for lost time, particularly because I think it's important to talk about games while they're still fresh in my mind. But as an attempt to kickstart this channel and just try to get my feelers out for how I feel about making these videos, I wanted to talk about some games that I played recently, last couple months. Even though they don't count towards my 2024 games. They are games that I played in 2023. So, that's Gibbon. Play Gibbon. It's pretty cool. See ya.